South Africa's political platform was thrown into turmoil today following Patriotic Alliance (PA) leader Gayton McKenzie's politically incendiary speech in which he shot his most vicious verbal dart to date at President Cyril Ramaphosa. The comments made in typical fire and forthrightness have caused waves in Parliament opposition benches and the broader populace. The heated debate came after Ramaphosa's latest national address, where he tried to assure citizens of his administration's seriousness about combating corruption, addressing economic decline, and strengthening the country's social fabric. His address as a call to action for unity and resilience aimed at soothing a nation already fatigued by decades of political corruption and economic misrule. But McKenzie, known for his sharp tongue and refusal to mince words, was having none of it. Speaking to a crowd of supporters gathered in Johannesburg, he accused the president of hiding behind speeches and political theater while the country burns. "We are tired of words, tired of promises, tired of your sweet talking," McKenzie roared from the podium, his voice echoing through the packed square. "Each time you open your mouth, you utter the same words. But our people are still poor. Our cities continue to be insecure. And our nation is still in the grip of thieves. Mr. President, you are not the answer. You are part of the problem." The frank statement caused a stir in the crowd, with his supporters chanting in his favor. McKenzie subsequently cranked up the temperature, explicitly connecting Ramaphosa to the very controversies he says he is combating. He went over the farm cash scandal which has plagued the president for months, claiming Ramaphosa continues to refuse to respond to tough questions regarding the millions in foreign exchange said to be stashed on his personal grounds. "If it was any average South African, that individual would be in jail right now," McKenzie declared, gesturing towards the crowd for emphasis. "Why should the president be held above the law? Why should he receive a free pass? I say enough is enough. Arrest him now." Those were not the only accusations the PA leader held at Ramaphosa. He additionally accused him of having acted systematically to shield his close circle of ministers and ANC allies, some of whom have been charged with serious corruption cases but continue to serve. For McKenzie, this partial justice is evidence that the president's anti-corruption campaign is nothing but political public relations aimed at protecting his power base and sustaining the veil of reform. The comments galvanized his crowd. Thousands of supporters who had come from miles around to join the rally cheered and began chanting slogans demanding the resignation of Ramaphosa. McKenzie continued, sketching a grim picture of a South Africa he said was on the brink of collapse. "The economy and unemployment are a ticking time bomb," he forewarned. "You speak of investment, but our youth can't even secure employment to feed their families. Crime. Our streets are unsafe. Our officers underpaid and underarmed. And yet criminals are on the street because corruption infects the justice system from the top." The indictment of government performance by Patriotic Alliance leaders spanned the nation's deteriorating infrastructure and failing basic services. He pointed to load shedding, persistent water shortages, and crumbling municipalities as proof of endemic mismanagement. "These are not accidents," McKenzie asserted. "They are a result of decades of ANC mismanagement. It's not the fault of ordinary people or even plain bad luck. It's the direct result of a government that has failed the people time and time again." He accused Ramaphosa of employing slick rhetoric and pure gimmicks to divert attention away from his shortcomings, comparing him to a captain steering a sinking ship while assuring the passengers that everything is okay. The analogy was met with thunderous applause and shouts of acknowledgement from the audience. "Do not expect them to solve this country. They will never solve it," McKenzie exclaimed, his voice rising in fervor. "The moment to make speeches is over. The moment for justice in the courts is now, and that justice must begin at the top with Cyril Ramaphosa himself. If we want a new South Africa, we need to hold the most powerful to account. I am saying to you today, arrest him now or we will lose our country forever." As his voice rang out above the sea of supporters, the rally became frenzied. The rally concluded with cries of "Arrest him, ringing through the streets, a stark indication that McKenzie's words had resonated with bitter citizens who feel betrayed by a government they used to believe in. Political commentators soon chimed in, cautioning that McKenzie's inflammatory rhetoric would further divide an already charged political landscape. With national elections in 2026 looming, it seems that PA leader is taking out a position as a brazen alternative to the ruling ANC, a man not afraid to confront the president and lay bare what he perceives as the party's hypocrisy. Other analysts opine that although McKenzie's speech could galvanize his constituency, it can also potentially destabilize an already fragile political landscape at a time when South Africa is most in need of coherence in order to tackle its economic and social predicaments. Others countered that McKenzie's incendiary language is a direct reflection of the frustration of everyday South Africans who have been fed up with years of corruption, scandals, load shedding, and broken promises. His forthright demand for accountability even at the top echelons of government struck a chord with many who feel that substantive change will only occur when powerful individuals are held to the same levels of accountability as the rest of us. Inside the ANC, McKenzie's words are likely to exacerbate internal conflict. Elements within the party have been quietly discussing Ramaphosa's leadership for months, with some demanding new elections inside the ANC itself. McKenzie's assault presented in such direct force may encourage dissident in the ruling party to attack the president more vocally or even defect in its entirety. Beyond the world of party politics, civil society organizations and community groups have also started to react. Activists have hailed McKenzie for expressing what many South Africans think, but are too fearful to say out loud that the nation's leadership has failed its citizens. Protests across the country are already being called on social media, with social media hashtags inspired by McKenzie's speech trending in hours following the rally. The international community, too, is watching closely. Diplomats from several key allies have reportedly sought updates on the fallout from McKenzie's speech, concerned that heightened political instability could impact South Africa's regional leadership role and its already struggling economy. Foreign investors, already worried due to years of economic uncertainty, may become even more cautious if the political situation deteriorates further. For President Ramaphosa, it is now a twofold challenge: to convince a doubtful public that his administration is still committed to reform and to tackle the increasing perception that he is unwilling or unable to take on corruption within his own ranks. To date, his office has refused point-blank to comment on McKenzie's allegations, but union-building sources indicate his advisors are convening an emergency session to devise a strategy to stem the damage.